This is the Velocity Barefoot Trainer, and it has everything you'd expect out of a Lenka barefoot shoe. The toe box is fantastically wide, it's zero drop, and it's very flexible. However, unlike the rest of their expansive barefoot shoe catalog full of casual and winter options, the Velocity is made to be a dedicated exercise shoe with a little bit of casual appeal added in. If you're wondering how this shoe performs in the gym, as well as in other aspects, you're in the right place. To give you all of the info that you need about this barefoot shoe, we're going to talk about the likes we've experienced as we've used it, then our dislikes, and lastly give you our final opinion on this offering from Lenka. As always, if you want to skip around to different parts of the video, there are timestamps down in the description. Let's get into it.
Alright, when it comes to my likes of the Velocity, the first thing that comes to mind is that as you pull this out of the box, you're going to notice that it feels a little heavier. But to me, it feels more durable. It feels very well built. I think that extra weight and that heftiness just comes from the way that they've constructed it. Like, you've got this side stitching right here that's really nice. You have a good rubber outsole that's still very thin. They say it's 5 millimeters, and so it's still very, very flexible, but it does feel more durable than many of the other barefoot shoe outsoles out there that are of the same material. And then the upper also feels a little heavier in a way too. Not that it's like weighing me down or anything like that. It just feels like it's been built to last. It feels very durable. And for a barefoot shoe, that's a really big deal because a lot of them shed as much weight as possible and cut corners wherever they can. And the durability on those shoes really takes a hit. So I weighed it against the Lem's Primal Zen, another shoe that I think compares really well with this one, just kind of an all-around athletic type shoe. And it came in at 8.6 or 8.7 ounces. I can't remember exactly, but I've got a little clip of it there. And then the Velocity came in at 10.6 or 10.7 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier, but I mean, we're talking 10.7 ounces. It's still super lightweight. It's not going to weigh you down at all, but I do think that the build quality is there and that it's going to last for a long time. And that's probably the main thing that I like about this shoe.
Getting into my likes of the Lenka Velocity, the first thing I want to bring up is something I don't want to beat to death too much because it's come up in all of our previous Lenka and Bear Barracks videos, and it will probably come up in all of the future ones as well. It's the toe box, and it's fantastic and it's roomy, but the cool thing about it is the way they do their design and their paneling somehow hides how wide that toe box actually is. It makes it so that the shoe does not look clownish or like you have duck feet, but you still get all of that roomy goodness. The next thing I want to talk about is the support that this shoe gives you as an exercise shoe. If you're doing unstable movements, sometimes the shoe can give you a little bit of an advantage in those specific situations. This one does a really good job because while it does give you support, it does not restrict your foot. So mixing that like of support with my next like, which is the flexibility, we have enough support to give you stability in uncertain environments, but we have enough flexibility that it doesn't hinder the activity of the foot. It lets your foot do all of the things that your foot is supposed to do for you in those scenarios, and then gives you a little bit of support at the end. The last like that I want to bring up is that I'm actually very impressed with the breathability of this shoe. Usually when you have a lot of TPU and literally the TPU unendingly wraps this shoe from one side to the other, the way that they've built the mesh into this shoe somehow provides a lot of really good airflow. And what I think happens is that when you're running or even walking briskly, the air enters through this big mesh panel at the front, flows through the shoe, and then exits out these back two vents that are along the heel. I think that having that nice wide toe box that lets your feet kind of spread out and breathe a little bit helps too, as far as allowing air through your toes and around your foot inside of the shoe. But regardless, the breathability of this shoe overall is really, really nice. With some of our many likes of this shoe out of the way, it's time to get into our dislikes, but first we wanted to mention some affiliates. Are you looking to take your barefoot shoe experience to another level? Then you're going to need a solid pair of toe socks that lets you take advantage of all that toe box. We love Creeper's Toe Socks, a sock that beat out 6 other toe sock brands in a comparison video we did that you can see through the card up in the corner. Whether it's cold or hot, whether you're hiking, running, or lounging, Creeper's Toe Socks will ensure that your feet stay comfy, dry, and healthy. If you're interested in checking out Creepers, head down to the link in the description and use our discount code to save yourself 15% off at checkout.
Okay, so when it comes to my dislikes of the Velocity, I just didn't feel like it fit very well in all the situations that I wish that it did. So for me, it's not super versatile. I think it's gonna shine in the gym and be there for you when you're lifting, or if you're on a treadmill or a bike or whatever you can do at the gym. I think it's gonna pass and do very well there. But I did take it on like a 7-mile hike. Not my favorite hiking shoe, and a lot of that has to do with how thin the stack height on it actually is. It was a pretty rocky trail and pretty steep, and I just wish that I had a little bit more under my foot. And I've also taken it running a couple of times, same kind of deal. I need a little bit more underneath my foot to be comfortable if I'm taking this out and really hitting the pavement hard like that. And I also tried playing pickleball in it, and it just wasn't my favorite experience. But again, I do think that as like a lifting shoe or just a gym shoe, it's really good. And if you're going to the gym a lot but you're looking for like a cool looking casual shoe, this is right up your alley. I mean, I talked about its durability with my likes. I think it's going to last a really long time, and it really shines in those two situations. So if that's what you're looking for, then we would definitely think that you should consider the Velocity.
Getting into my dislikes of the Velocity, the first thing that I want to mention is the volume. The volume's a little low. I'm a medium arch person. I don't have flat feet. I don't have high arches. I've got medium arches, and it's a little tight on the top of the foot. The tongue is sewn down, which is fantastic, and it's sewn down with a little bit of bungee, but that bungee's a little tight. Now, it has kind of broken in over time, but it's still pretty tight on the top of my foot, and I've worn this quite a lot. So that's just something for you to consider if volume tends to be an issue for you in shoes. The next thing I want to mention is the unfinished footbed. I want a finished footbed in every pair of barefoot shoes that I wear because I want to manipulate the stack height, and sometimes I want to bring it down as low as possible. If I don't have a finished footbed, then it's not very comfortable doing that. My last dislike when it comes to this shoe is going to be something I alluded to at the beginning of the video, and that is the Active Grip Neo grip texture here. I find it to be a middle of the ground grip texture, so it's not fantastically grippy. It's also not slippy, slidey, depending on the situations you use it in. I did use this at work as a delivery driver in a big metal box truck. It was kind of slippy, slidey in there, but on the rubber mats in my gym, it grips decently. There are other shoes like the Teardrop Zero, which we haven't reviewed yet, the Barefoot Ursas, and the Notorious Lift Radix, which we have reviewed. When I do reverse lunges in those, which is my best barometer for grip performance in an exercise shoe, those, it seems like my foot hits the ground and they just stick immediately. My foot obviously bends a little bit in that movement, and my toes and the ball of my foot are what is contacting the ground most, and it feels like those just dig in. This guy actually slides just a little bit on my rubber mats in the gym, so that's why I'm calling this kind of a subpar grip texture for an exercise shoe. Now, I think there might be a justification for it, which I'll give real quick, and that is the rubber on this outsole seems to be a little bit harder. Softer rubbers tend to be more grippy. The Notorious Lift Radix, I'm actually worried about using for movements that have too much friction because I'm concerned that it's going to rub that rubber off over time in chunks. Not worried about that with this. It's a bit of a harder rubber. You can really feel it. So the durability of this outsole is probably going to be way better, even if it has to give up on the grip a little bit. Now, something important to mention here is that I don't think that any of these three things that I've mentioned are deal breakers, for me at least. That is going to get you into my final opinion of this shoe. Would I recommend the Lenka Velocity to someone who is looking for a barefoot style lifting shoe? I definitely would. Based on all of the likes that I shared, I think those are all of the big rocks. The dislikes that I shared can be somewhat subjective to a degree, and I think that a lot of people can overlook those. The shoe is pretty dang versatile, and I think for the purpose that it was built for, it does a really good job. With my final opinion of the Velocity out of the way, I'm going to pass things back over to Eric. He is going to talk about his final opinion, and he's going to give you the outro to the video.
All right, thank y'all so much for the view. We really appreciate it. This is a really good shoe from an awesome brand. We really like Lenka and what they're doing with Barefoot shoes. They make really different and durable shoes that we so far have liked a lot. We definitely think they're a brand that you should go and check out if you are in the market for some Barefoot shoes. They make the whole gambit. They've got boots, they've got casual shoes, they've got athletic shoes, and they've got some stuff that would pass off as dress shoes too, so definitely go and check them out. There's more places online where you can get content from us. The first one is our Patreon account. If you want to go and subscribe there, it only costs you $1 a month, and then you get exclusive content from us. We're very active on Instagram, where we're posting unboxing videos. You can see all these boxes that we've got behind us. We still have more gear coming in, so there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on Instagram. And then you can follow us on Strava. That's a great app where you can go and you can log all of your activities that you're doing, whether that's biking, running, hiking, whatever it is. And you can build a community there, and that's what we're doing right now. So come follow us on Strava. We will follow you back, and then we can all give each other support through all of our active endeavors. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the mountains.